Chapter 406. The Feng family's shocking secret about the phoenix. Fen Ling didn't press him but waited quietly. This was a transaction after all. Fen Ling had been aware of Lin Fei for some time. However, she hadn't expected Lin Fei to be so powerful, capable of annihilating the vast void immortal sect. If Lin Fei hadn't done so, Fen Ling wouldn't have approached him. Destroying the vast void immortal sect proved that Lin Fei possessed the strength of a top-tier martial king. Coupled with his saber world, he was the ideal ally to deal with the true phoenix. Of course, that's if Lin Fei was willing and if the Fen family could offer satisfactory terms. Suddenly, Lin Fei looked up. "I can agree," he said. "But I have a condition. If you agree, then I'll gladly assist." "What's the condition?" "I also need the bloodline of the true phoenix." This was Lin Fei's demand. Apart from the 300 ice-attributed divine abilities, he also wanted the phoenix's bloodline. After all, who wouldn't want the bloodline of a real phoenix? Deal. Fen Ling nodded in agreement. Few martial kings could resist the allure of the phoenix's bloodline. However, integrating such a bloodline into oneself was extremely challenging. "All right, when do we leave?" asked Lin Fei. "If Ancient Origin Saber King is available, we can head to the Martial God Alliance to sign the contract now. Once it's signed, we can depart anytime." "Let's go and sign the contract then." And so, Lin Fei and Fen Ling went to the headquarters of the Martial God Alliance. Both parties signed the contract. "Now, we can head to my Fen family home," said Fen Ling. Lin Fei nodded and quickly transformed into a streak of light, following behind Fen Ling. The Fen family residence was far from the city of martial gods and even farther from the ancient origin sect. Even for a strong martial king like Lin Fei, it took over 10 hours to reach the Fen family's residence. As the two figures landed, murmurs arose. "The clan leader has returned." "Greetings, clan leader. Is this the help the clan leader has brought?" Some of the Fen family elders, upon seeing Lin Fei, examined him closely. "This is the Ancient Origin Saber King," introduced Fen Ling. "Ancient Origin Saber King?" someone asked. Could it be the same Lin Fei who recently defeated 5 great nascent soul great beings and obliterated the vast void immortal sect? A top-tier martial king indeed. He managed to slay the distant Cloud Taoist lord and destroy the vast void immortal sect. He's definitely a top-tier martial king. Only a top-tier martial king could accomplish what's required now. For a moment, the elders were astonished. In reality, decisions concerning the Fen family did not rely on them. Fen Ling was the only martial king in the Fen family. Although she was young and had only been the clan leader for a short time, her prestige had already surpassed any of the elders. The reason was simple: she was a martial king. That was enough. It was similar to Lin Fei's situation in the Ancient Origin sect. How long had he been a part of the Ancient Origin sect? He had even joined halfway. Yet this did not prevent him from becoming the most respected person in the entire sect. Again, the reason was simple: Lin Fei was a martial king. Power was the utmost respect. Only immense strength could lead a family or sect to its peak. "My friend, please," Fen Ling gestured. Lin Fei nodded, and together with Fen Ling, entered the Fen residence. The Fen family's estate was vast, even encompassing a forested mountain range. This was the Fen family's backyard. It was lush and green, a favorite place for many in the Fen family. However, when Fen Ling brought Lin Fei to this mountain, there was no one from the Fen family present. Only Lin Fei and Fen Ling remained. "My friend, are you curious about where the phoenix is?" Fen Ling inquired. In fact, the phoenix has always been with the Fen family. Lin Fei was surprised. "In this mountain?" "Yes, precisely in this mountain," Fen Ling replied. "To be exact, it's inside a realm within this mountain." Fen Ling took a deep breath. Suddenly, a burst of flames emerged from her body. These blazing flames emitted a terrifying temperature, distorting even the surrounding space. Dominating. Extremely dominating. These were the Phoenix flames. There were countless flames in the world, but few were as dominant as the Phoenix flames. As Fen Ling unleashed the Phoenix flames, the distorted space slowly began to resemble a massive black hole. And it continued to expand. A black hole? Lin Fei mused. No, it looks more like an entrance. perhaps an entrance to a realm. Various thoughts raced through Lin Fei's mind. He had once led people into the Tuyuan realm and was somewhat familiar with such entrances. Just the power of the phoenix flames, as mighty as they were, would not have been sufficient to burn such a massive hole in the void. The only explanation was that this was an entrance to a realm and the phoenix flames acted as the key to open it. Fenling nodded in agreement. Indeed, this is a realm entrance that my Fen family has always controlled. Through this entrance, one can enter the realm. And inside this realm, there is a phoenix. Subsequently, Fenling took a step forward and entered the realm. Lin Fei thought for a moment and followed suit. With a hum, Lin Fei stepped into the entrance of the realm. The feeling was very unique, as if he had momentarily passed through water and then emerged from it. At that moment, Lin Fei looked around. This place was entirely another world: birds chirping, fragrant flowers, lush vegetation, and towering ancient trees. Clearly, they had entered the realm. This is a genuine realm, Lin Fei exclaimed. It's like an entirely different world. In reality, this was Lin Fei's first time entering a realm. The last time at Tuyuan realm, he merely escorted members of the ancient origin sect. He himself did not enter the Tuyuan realm and was unaware of its intricacies. Now, truly inside one, Lin Fei was genuinely experiencing a realm for the first time. Immediately, he thought of his saber world. In fact, the saber world could be transformed into a realm. However, it couldn't form an entire world like this one, much less imprison a phoenix. My saber world is already complete, and there's no further progress, Lin Fei pondered. How did these realms come into existence? He frowned, deep in thought about his saber world. Could there still be room for improvement? But on his system panel, the progression for Saber World was already at its limit. Its completion was the ultimate stage. My friend, Fenling began, this realm was discovered accidentally by the ancestors of the Fen family. Later on, our ancestors entered this realm and fortuitously obtained the Phoenix bloodline. Subsequently, with the power of the Phoenix bloodline, he achieved the title of Martial King and settled the Fen family here. Ever since we have occupied this realm, for countless years, our family has attempted to obtain the pure Phoenix blood again, but no one has succeeded. Can you guess why? Because the Phoenix is too powerful, Lin Fei responded. Exactly, because the Phoenix is overwhelmingly powerful, Fenling confirmed. Throughout the realm, there has always been only one Phoenix. The Phoenix is immortal, it can be reborn from its ashes. Whenever its life cycle ends, the Phoenix burns itself into a Phoenix egg, waiting patiently. When the time is right, it emerges from the ashes once again. This cycle repeats indefinitely, every 100,000 years. Our Fen family's history isn't even that long. Thus, we've always been waiting for an opportunity. Now, the Phoenix is in its juvenile phase. This is our only chance. Moreover, only a martial king can open this realm. Therefore, it's crucial for our Fen family to have a martial king in every generation. Lin Fei was taken aback. He hadn't expected the Fen family to harbor such earth-shattering secrets. Chapter 407. Under the Phoenix Tree, the juvenile Phoenix. Inside the secret realm, trees were lush and green all around. There stood one towering tree, reaching high into the clouds, its canopy stretching for miles, overshadowing the sky. At a single glance, one could perceive the extraordinariness of this tree. That is the Phoenix tree, said Fenling. It has existed for countless eons. It's due to this tree that the Phoenix has chosen to stay in this realm. Even in its prime, the Phoenix cannot leave this realm. To find the Phoenix, one simply needs to locate the Phoenix tree. Lin Fei nodded in understanding. It was common knowledge that phoenixes roosted in Phoenix trees. And so, the two of them flew directly towards the tree. Before they even reached it, they felt an intense, burning heat. The air itself seemed to be aflame. Fixing his gaze, Lin Fei could now see a blazing inferno, and within it, a crimson phoenix spreading its wings. His heart shuddered at the sight. A true phoenix. This was the legendary divine creature, comparable in power to the pinnacle of deity transformation and the mightiest of martial gods. However, although it was a terrifying divine creature, Lin Fei could distinctly feel that this phoenix did not emanate an overpowering aura of life. Meaning that while it might be a divine creature, it hadn't yet reached its peak. In fact, it seemed to be still in its juvenile phase. My friend Lin, now do you believe that this phoenix is still in its juvenile phase? Feng asked with a smile. Having witnessed the phoenix firsthand, Lin Fei, of course, believed. This phoenix was indeed in its juvenile phase and had a long way to go before reaching maturity. Even though phoenixes are said to be immortal, continually reborn from their ashes, their growth still takes time. And this time lapse provides opportunities for other beings. When we act later on, try not to kill it, Feng advised. If we kill it, it will transform into an indestructible phoenix egg, and who knows how long it would take for it to hatch again. We should try to capture it alive. Only by doing so can we obtain the phoenix's bloodline. Lin Fei nodded in agreement. The immortality of the phoenix was not a mere saying. It might be difficult to kill, even for those of divine caliber. Perhaps only beings beyond the divine level can truly slay a phoenix. When comparing vitality, phoenixes are said to be much stronger than true dragons. There are tales of dragons falling, but very few, if any, of a phoenix's demise. Moreover, the offspring of a phoenix are not phoenixes. Once a phoenix in the world perishes, its number decreases. Their number remains almost constant. Phoenixes might have offspring like peacocks, rocks, and possibly others, but their descendants will never be phoenixes. This was one of the fascinating attributes of phoenixes. Lin Fei observed as the phoenix flew up to perch on the phoenix tree, appearing like a flame, burning intensely. Get ready. At that moment, Feng gave a low command. Saber World. Without hesitation, Lin Fei instantly unleashed Saber World. Boom. Saber World descended, isolating its insides from the outside completely, trapping the phoenix. Rather than attacking, Lin Fei's Saber World mainly aimed to entrap and prevent the phoenix from escaping. Right then, Feng made her move. Boom. Instead of fire, she summoned the wind. She knew all too well that using flames against a phoenix would be futile. So, a roaring wind charged at the phoenix. Along with the gust, there seemed to be a shadow of a sword. Surprisingly, Feng also possessed the bloodline of swordsmanship. This was beyond Lin Fei's expectations. Swish! The sword shadow fiercely slashed down, but the phoenix, seemingly enraged, spat out a torrent of fire. It was the genuine phoenix flame, one that could incinerate the void. Even Lin Fei's Saber World seemed to be under immense pressure, as if it could collapse at any moment. The phoenix's flames met Fengling's sword energy and reduced it to ashes instantly. As for the wild winds, they couldn't even get within 10 meters of the phoenix. Fengling's face changed drastically. How can it be this powerful, she exclaimed. It's just in its juvenile stage, comparable to a martial king at best. How could it be so strong that even I can't handle it? The revelation shook her. She was, after all, a top-tier martial king. Yet she couldn't even deal with a juvenile phoenix. Worse still, she couldn't even get close to it. Ice Seal. With gritted teeth, Feng used another of her bloodlines. A chilling aura attempted to envelop the phoenix. However, before it could even approach the creature, it was melted by the intense flames surrounding the phoenix. 3 bloodlines. She had used 3 of her bloodlines, but even if Feng had 8 or 9 bloodlines, what difference would it make? Her primary lineage was that of the phoenix, meaning most of her bloodlines were of the fire attribute. How could any fire attribute contend with a true phoenix? What a magnificent phoenix! Lin Fei exclaimed in awe. It was evident to Lin Fei that Feng was now in an awkward situation, caught in a dilemma. In truth, Fengling's strength was by no means lacking. On the contrary, she was incredibly formidable. The 3 bloodlines she had unveiled, those of the sword, the wind, and the ice, were all potent. Taking into account her phoenix bloodline and other fire attribute bloodlines, Feng truly stood at the pinnacle of martial kings. In any other setting, against other martial kings or nascent soul great beings, Feng would have feared no one. But now, she was facing a phoenix, an entity that countered her, rendering most of her bloodlines ineffective. It was as though, in front of the phoenix, she had suddenly lost over half of her power. How could she possibly fight in such a state? Thus, Lin Fei stepped in. Heavenly Saber, strike. In an instant, Lin Fei conjured a massive heavenly saber. He manifested his true martial king form, a towering figure spanning tens of thousands of meters. Combined with the grandiose heavenly saber in the void and the augmentation from the saber world, the power behind Lin Fei's strike had reached its zenith. Annihilation Frost Bloodline. Just as the heavenly saber was about to descend, Lin Fei unleashed the Annihilation Frost Bloodline. Even though he was aware of the formidable nature of the Phoenix Flames, he still wanted to give it a try. After all, his Annihilation Frost Bloodline wasn't just any ordinary lineage, it was among the most elite. One could gauge its potency by considering how many ice attribute divine abilities were merged into it. Whoosh! A freezing aura permeated the air. While Feng Ling's ice couldn't penetrate the 10-meter radius around the phoenix, Lin Fei's Frost Bloodline managed to instantly freeze the bird, turning it into a crystal. However, it lasted just a split second. Even though Lin Fei was swift, the phoenix still broke free in that brief moment. Boom! The next instant, Lin Fei's heavenly saber had struck down, landing on the phoenix. Squelch! Contrary to Lin Fei's expectations, the body of the phoenix was sliced in half by his saber in a blink. Chapter 408. Extracts the Phoenix Bloodline. Cut in half. Upon seeing Lin Fei's saber slice the phoenix in two, Feng Ling was taken aback, even a bit shocked. She had engaged the phoenix earlier, so she knew firsthand how formidable it was. Her 3 bloodlines were ineffective against it. Yet Lin Fei, with just one saber strike, bolstered by his ice bloodline, he managed to momentarily freeze the phoenix. It was only for a split second, but he genuinely froze the creature. Earlier, Feng Ling's frost bloodline couldn't even approach within 10 meters of the phoenix, let alone freeze it. Even if they both had frost bloodlines or bloodlines of the same attribute, there was a clear difference in power and potency. Clearly, Lin Fei's frost bloodline was among the pinnacle of its kind, while Feng Ling's was relatively mundane. Though Lin Fei's power far exceeded Feng Ling's expectations, thinking about how he had dominated the vast void immortal sect made it seem less surprising. Moreover, given the current situation where she couldn't subdue the phoenix, the stronger Lin Fei was, the better. Friend Lin, the phoenix isn't dead, Feng Ling urgently warned. Moreover, it cannot die. Even if it's sliced in half, as long as its flames persist, it can regenerate instantly. We must suppress it entirely and capture it alive. It's not dead. Lin Fei observed the distant phoenix. Despite being cleaved into two, not a drop of blood was spilled. The phoenix's halved body transformed into 2 flame strains, which then merged and revived the creature. What's more, the reborn phoenix seemed even stronger. Its blazing aura surged dramatically, sweeping toward both Lin Fei and Feng Ling. With a whoosh, Lin Fei, able to teleport within the saber world, naturally evaded the phoenix's flies. As for Feng Ling, her own phoenix lineage protected her. While her fire bloodline was ineffective against the phoenix's flames, in turn, couldn't touch her adder. My saber, combined with the Annihilation Frost bloodline, can indeed harm the phoenix to an extent, Lin Fei pondered. But it's not enough. Far from enough. If I aim to capture the phoenix alive, I must continually slice and dice it, preventing its regeneration. Numerous thoughts raced through Lin Fei's mind. Supreme Young Heavenly Thunder Bloodline. In the next moment, Lin Fei unleashed the Supreme Young Heavenly Thunder Bloodline. The sky darkened, clouded with dense, brooding clouds. Even within this secret realm, thunder existed. Heavenly Thunder, fall. Lin Fei commanded. Boom, boom, boom. Massive bolts of lightning rained down, striking the phoenix viciously. With each strike, the phoenix emitted a piercing cry. Its protective phoenix flames held against the initial blows. However, as the second, third, fourth, and countless other bolts of lightning descended, everything changed. No matter how robust the phoenix's flames were, they couldn't withstand the deluge of heavenly thunder. And then, there was Lin Fei's Supreme Saber Dao bloodline. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Saber after saber, countless blades of light aimed at the phoenix. The creature let out a mournful cry, but its flames couldn't harm Lin Fei. Desperate, the phoenix tried to escape, attempting to break out of Lin Fei's saber world. This was Feng Ling's chance to act. She stepped forward, unleashing all her bloodlines. While she couldn't harm the phoenix, she could restrict it, preventing it from breaking out of the saber world. As a result, under the combined efforts of Lin Fei and Feng Ling, the phoenix was repeatedly bombarded by the saber lights and the heavenly thunder. Its vitality continued to wane. Freeze. Soon, the phoenix was segmented into dozens of parts by the saber lights. Lin Fei immediately employed the Annihilation Frost bloodline. Frozen instantly. This bloodline possessed the power to suppress all forces, even the phoenix's flames. Previously, the phoenix's flames were too strong and the Annihilation Frost bloodline was too weak. But now, the tables had turned. After being bombarded and segmented, the phoenix could easily be frozen by the Annihilation Frost bloodline. We did it. Lin Fei exclaimed, "We've subdued the phoenix." However, don't release it all, Fenling cautioned. Release only a single ice crystal containing a fraction of the phoenix. It will undoubtedly contain the phoenix bloodline. Fenling had no illusions of killing the phoenix entirely, such a feat was impossible. Even deity transformations or martial gods couldn't achieve it, let alone Lin Fei and Fenling. Nodding in agreement, Lin Fei released a fragment of ice. As it dissolved, a small flame within swiftly transformed into a miniature phoenix. Though just a fraction of the original creature and significantly less powerful, its essence still contained the phoenix bloodline. With a swift motion, Lin Fei grasped, easily controlling this fragment of the phoenix. Extract its bloodline, Lin Fei calmly instructed. Fenling nodded. Extracting a bloodline was not as simple as drawing blood. She possessed the phoenix bloodline within her, making her the ideal candidate for the task. Taking a deep breath, flames erupted from her, the very flames of a phoenix. She then extended a finger towards the struggling bird. Buzz. The phoenix writhed, but it was futile. With Fengling's command, strands of blood began to flow out from the phoenix. Surprisingly, the blood was golden, a color so vibrant and eye-catching. After extracting a portion of the bloodline, Fengling promptly filled 2 porcelain vials with the golden liquid. It's done. This vial is for you, Lin, she said, handing one to him. Grasping it, Lin Fei marveled at the vial filled with the phoenix's blood, a divine bloodline coveted by countless martial artists. Let's go, Fenling urged. Nodding, Lin Fei immediately retracted his saber whirled. Together, they quickly headed towards the entrance from where they had come. As for the remnants of the frozen phoenix, as they departed, the ice containing the phoenix shattered. Boom! Flames exploded, shaking the entire secret realm. It was the phoenix, venting its fury. Regardless of its rage, it could no longer catch up with Lin Fei and Fenling. They had already reached the entrance to the secret realm. Let's move, Fenling prompted. With that, they stepped out, leaving the realm behind. Moments later, on the back mountain of the Fen family's land, the figures of Lin Fei and Fenling appeared. They had successfully exited the realm. Looking back, Lin Fei observed the entrance, which seemed to be violently trembling, as if the phoenix was attacking it from within. Fenling, are you certain the phoenix cannot leave this realm? Lin Fei asked skeptically. Especially since it's only in its juvenile phase now, comparable to a martial king. But it can grow, perhaps even rivaling top-tier martial gods. Can this secret realm still contain it? Fenling smiled. This realm is special and powerful. It seems specifically designed to trap the phoenix. Even if it reaches its peak strength, rivaling the mightiest martial gods, as long as I don't willingly open the entrance, the phoenix cannot leave. Lin Fei understood. Shortly after, the entrance to the secret realm closed. Lin, I request you to stay with the Fen family a bit longer, Fenling said. In a month at most, I'll gather the 300 ice attribute divine abilities as promised. Lin Fei nodded, and the two departed from the back mountain together. Chapter 409. Fenling's bloodline returns to its ancestral lineage. Lin Fei took out a porcelain bottle containing the phoenix's bloodline inside the Fen family's secret chamber. This was the genuine blood of a true phoenix, incredibly precious. In reality, Lin Fei already possessed the bloodline of a flood dragon within him, which even contained a trace of the true dragon's blood. Hence, he could be considered to have the bloodline of a true dragon. However, the bloodlines within Lin Fei's body were diverse. Yet, what bloodline to cultivate was entirely Lin Fei's decision. Lin Fei had no intention of cultivating the phoenix bloodline. It wasn't necessary. By cultivating the phoenix bloodline, he wasn't confident that he could perfect it. And a bloodline he couldn't perfect was of no use to him. This was different for Fenling. She inherently possessed the Phoenix bloodline. Now, with the blood of the true Phoenix, she aimed to reinforce her bloodline and attempt to trace it back to its roots. Cultivating the Phoenix bloodline from scratch wasn't easy. It wasn't something that could be perfected just by integrating any divine ability. However, although Lin Fei wasn't cultivating the Phoenix bloodline, it didn't mean it was useless to him. On the contrary, it had a significant purpose to be fused with his body and enhance its foundation. Especially given the Phoenix's ability to rejuvenate through fire, an ability many would covet. In some sense, this ability was akin to immortality. However, Lin Fei speculated that every time the Phoenix rejuvenated, a new consciousness would emerge. Even if the power remained consistent, the consciousness would differ. Many might desire such eternal life, but not Lin Fei. True immortality, in his eyes, must be governed by his own consciousness. Without that, what difference was there between such existence and death? Pouring out the Phoenix's blood from the bottle, an indivisible force seemed to support it. Fuse. Lin Fei commanded. His body rapidly absorbed the Phoenix bloodline, incorporating it along with the Flood Dragon's bloodline and others. As the Phoenix bloodline merged, Lin Fei's physical body enhanced at a visibly rapid pace. It was continuously evolving and had never stagnated. Having now integrated the Phoenix bloodline, the transformation of Lin Fei's body would speed up. Moreover, the Phoenix bloodline wasn't entirely useless for other bloodlines within Lin Fei. At least for those of the fire attribute, it still held a minor influence. For instance, the Tripoli and True Fire bloodline would be slightly strengthened. However, the enhancement wasn't significant. Yet, if Lin Fei wanted to cultivate another fire attribute bloodline in the future, the process would be much more efficient. For the time being, the Phoenix bloodline could only enhance the foundation of Lin Fei's physical body, undergoing a gradual transformation. As time ticked away, Lin Fei patiently waited. In the blink of an eye, more than 20 days passed. Lin Fei met Fenling once again. At this moment, he could distinctly sense that she looked radiant. Her aura seemed to be strengthening continuously, with a unique hint of a real phoenix, though not as intense. Lin Fei realized that Fenling must have achieved a significant breakthrough. "Congratulations, Fenling," he said. "I presume you've refined the Phoenix bloodline and successfully reverted it to its ancestral form." "Indeed, and I owe it all to you, Lin Fei," Fenling replied. "Without you, how could I have obtained the Phoenix bloodline? Now that my bloodline has successfully reverted, I await the same for all the other bloodlines within me. In at most a year, I'll attempt to ascend to martial gods." Her eyes sparkled with ambition. For so many years, the entire Feng family had waited for someone who could potentially challenge the martial gods' realm. Although having a reverted bloodline provided an opportunity, whether one could become a martial god was still uncertain. "Lin Fei, over these 20 days, my Feng family managed to gather 300 ice attribute divine abilities. In total, we have 318 ice attribute divine abilities. If that's insufficient, we can continue collecting, though it might take more time," she offered. Lin Fei's eyes lit up. "Your kindness is deeply appreciated, Fenling. As long as you're satisfied, Lin Fei. Should you require anything, please don't hesitate to notify me," she responded. With that, Fenling hastily retreated to meditate. She needed time to consolidate the potent, reverted Phoenix bloodline. Even for someone as advanced as her, it would take time to familiarize and streamline the newfound power. However, she now had a chance to challenge the martial gods, whereas Lin Fei still had a long way to go. "First, I'll integrate the 300 ice attribute divine abilities into the Annihilation Frost bloodline," Lin Fei decided. He then entered his secluded chamber. His Annihilation Frost bloodline had only been at a beginner stage. With the help of the Feng family, he managed to collect over 300 ice attribute divine abilities in a short period, which pleased him. After Fenling departed, an elder of the Feng family spoke with concern. "Clan leader, you've now acquired the Phoenix bloodline. Once the bloodline reverts to its ancestral form, it will certainly alert that king-level exotic beast. Why not ask the ancient origin Saber King for assistance? With his intervention, we might stand a chance against that beast." However, Fenling shook her head. "The last time ancient origin Saber King aided us, it was merely due to a trade, enabling us to collect the 300 ice attribute divine abilities. If the king-level exotic beast attacks, what can we offer the ancient origin Saber King in exchange? Don't assume that just because he helped us once, he will do so again. Some matters we must face on our own. Besides, with my bloodline reverted, even if I don't challenge the martial gods, my strength has greatly increased. Why should I fear that peacock? A glint of coldness flashed in Fenling's eyes. The peacock she referred to was the Peacock King, a pinnacle king-level exotic beast. Peacocks share an intimate connection with phoenixes. The Fen family, possessing the phoenix bloodline, was already resented by the Peacock King. Yet, due to the absence of a reverted bloodline, the Peacock King hadn't truly acted against the Fen family. Now that Fenling's bloodline had reverted, it was as potent as a young, genuine phoenix. How could the Peacock King let it go? It was likely he would attack soon. However, this time, Fenling was resolute. She must confront the Peacock King herself. But the elder tried to interject. Fenling waved him off. Enough. I need to meditate. Leave. Yes, clan leader. The elder departed, muttering to himself, our Fen family only has the clan leader as the martial king. Even though she has a chance to ascend to martial gods after the bloodline reversion, success isn't guaranteed. We cannot allow the Peacock King to disturb her at this critical juncture. Gritting his teeth, the elder seemed to make up his mind and quickly left the place. Chapter 410. Becoming Dao Companions. Inside the chamber, Lin Fei was preparing to cultivate his Annihilation Frost bloodline. Suddenly, a series of knocks resonated from outside. Who is it? Lin Fei asked with a frown. It's Elder Fen Jiushan from the Fen family, seeking an audience with ancient origin Saber King. Fen Jiushan. Lin Fei didn't recall knowing this person. Besides, as an elder of the Fen family, he'd probably just be at the martial sovereign level. Why would he seek out Lin Fei? Despite his confusion, Lin Fei hadn't started his cultivation yet, so he exited his chamber and met with Fen Jiushan. At first glance, Fen Jiushan looked old and withered. But appearances can be deceiving. Even a martial sovereign has a lifespan of 1,000 years, and if they wish not to age, it was quite simple. However, some prefer to undergo natural changes, unconcerned about their appearance. Greetings, ancient origin Saber King, Fen Jiushan greeted with reverence. Elder Fen, what brings you to me? I have a request, one concerning our clan leader, and, by extension, the entirety of the Fen family. Why doesn't Fenling come to speak with me directly? Lin Fei found it odd, as typically, only someone of Fenling's caliber would approach him. The elders were weaker in comparison and existed on a different level than Lin Fei. Ancient origin Saber King, the matter is closely related to the clan leader, Fen Jiushan began. However, she's currently indisposed, and truth be told, she doesn't know I'm here. Even more puzzled, Lin Fei directly inquired, what's this all about? Speak plainly. Ancient origin Saber King, regarding the Peacock King, I'm afraid we need your assistance. Fen Jiushan proceeded to explain everything about the Peacock King to Lin Fei. Once informed, Lin Fei finally understood the gravity of the situation and why Fen Jiushan sought him out. The Peacock King, rumored to be a descendant of the Phoenix. In this lineage, which included peacocks and then the mighty Dapen birds, all were considered offspring of the Phoenix. However, one particular exotic beast claimed to be the Peacock King. Its origin was unknown, which Phoenix birthed it remained a mystery. But its strength was immense, ranking at the pinnacle of martial kings. This Peacock King had a keen sense for the blood of the Phoenix and would surely detect anyone possessing it. The Peacock King wouldn't care about regular Phoenix bloodlines. But once the genuine Phoenix blood makes an appearance, the Peacock King would surely appear. Fen Jiushan's fear was that the Peacock King might come after Fenling. If Fenling is defeated or injured, it could jeopardize her attempt to become one of the martial gods. This would be a huge loss. Therefore, if the Peacock King truly appears, Fen Jiushan hoped Lin Fei could assist. Lin Fei was silent for a long time before he finally asked, Elder Fen, what do I get in return for dealing with the Peacock King? The reason Fenling hasn't come herself is likely that she knows that our Fen family no longer has anything that might interest you. Dealing with a Peak King level exotic beast like the Peacock King is riskier than dealing with the Phoenix. What can the Fen family offer in exchange? Lin Fei fixed his gaze on Fen Jiushan. While phoenixes were trapped in mysterious realms and could not be escaped from, the Peacock King was a king-level beast that wasn't confined. Challenging it was extremely difficult, and even top-tier martial kings wouldn't confidently say they could defeat it. Lin Fei wouldn't risk his life to help the Fen family without a good reason. Fen Jiashan remained silent for a while and then clenched his teeth. To be honest, our Fen family currently doesn't have anything valuable enough for a trade with the ancient origin Saber King. However, I can share a secret concerning our family, or more specifically, about our clan leader. What secret? Our clan leader is a top-tier martial king with the bloodline of the Phoenix. If someone at the martial king level becomes her Dao companion, they can receive an opportunity for rebirth through fire. This means they can be fully restored, even from complete annihilation. If timed well, this could be utilized during the attempt to ascend to martial gods. Essentially, it allows for 2 attempts to become a martial god. Even if the first attempt fails, one can be reborn without any injuries, plus they'd gain invaluable experience. If the ancient origin Saber King agrees to help us against the Peacock King, I promise to do everything in my power to make you the Dao companion of our clan leader. Together, you both can ascend to martial gods. While you are incredibly talented, so is our clan leader. She's a top-tier martial king, ready to ascend to martial gods. How many of her caliber exist in the ancient continent? Such a union would benefit the Fen family, the ancient origin sect, both you and our clan leader. Fen Jiashan's voice grew more passionate as he spoke. In truth, he had been harboring this idea for some time, having recognized Lin Fei's potential. The ancient origin Saber King, who single-handedly decimated the vast void immortal sect, killed top-tier martial sovereigns and even mastered the Saber world, has limitless potential. He may even have a greater potential to ascend to martial gods compared to Fen Ling. Dao companion. Even the usually unshakable and calm Lin Fei couldn't help but be taken aback upon hearing Fen Jiashan's proposal. It was not that the Fen family possessed this power, but that it was a latent ability within their bloodline. More surprisingly, it could only be used once by the Dao companion during their joint cultivation, and not by the Phoenix bloodline bearers themselves. Even if it was just one chance, Lin Fei believed that if this information were to be made public, numerous top-tier martial kings would be knocking on the Fen family's door, especially those who saw the potential of advancing to martial gods. Many would wish to be the Dao companion to the Fen Ling. However, the Fen family had guarded this secret closely until now. The Fen family was in trouble, and it appeared that Fen Ling alone might not be able to resolve it. That's why Fen Jiashan had chosen to reveal this secret to Lin Fei. Senior Fen, Lin Fei responded, since this involves Fen Ling, it should be her decision to make. As for the Peacock King, if he really comes, since I'm here at the Feng residence, I won't stand idly by. Fen Jiashan was elated inside. While Lin Fei hadn't directly agreed, he hadn't declined either. Fen Jiashan sensed Lin Fei's implied meaning. As long as Lin Fei was willing to confront the Peacock King, it was enough for him. Rest assured, ancient origin Saber King, Fen Jiashan assured. I will convey this matter to our clan leader. With that, he turned and left, leaving Lin Fei alone in the chamber. Phoenix rebirth. Lin Fei murmured to himself. Such a skill was against the heavens. If one could be reborn from ashes without any damage, it would indeed be a significant boost for him to achieve the status of martial gods. The effect might even surpass the benefits gained from cultivating multiple bloodlines. Looking across the vast ancient continent, there were numerous top-tier martial kings. However, how many among them had achieved the status of martial gods? All of them had the qualifications, yet they all failed. It was evidence that achieving martial god status wasn't merely about possessing 9 bloodlines. If he could increase his chances of becoming a martial god, it would be ideal. But first, Lin Fei needed to cultivate the 9 bloodlines. With that thought in mind, Lin Fei returned to his chamber, ready to merge with the 380 nice attribute divine abilities. Chapter 411. The 6th Bloodline. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As Lin Fei integrated one icy divine ability after another, his Annihilation Frost bloodline began its gradual ascendancy. However, this rise was indeed lethargic. But it was undeniably escalating. After all, Lin Fei had prepared 318 icy divine abilities. That number was surely sufficient. A resonating hum. In the following moment, Lin Fei's entire being trembled. Annihilation Frost bloodline had advanced to mastery. From beginner to mastery, though it was merely a minor realm's progression, Lin Fei's Annihilation Frost bloodline was a seismic transformation, nearly metamorphic. Lin Fei could distinctly feel that his Annihilation Frost bloodline had substantially improved, almost undergoing a metamorphosis. The post-metamorphosis Annihilation Frost bloodline saw an immense enhancement in its potency. In the past, when Lin Fei cultivated bloodlines, never had he experienced such a pronounced rise. This could only affirm one thing: Lin Fei's Annihilation Frost bloodline was truly an apex bloodline. No wonder it could freeze a phoenix. Bear in mind that even an infant phoenix with its phoenix fire is terrifyingly potent. Typical icy bloodlines, dreaming to freeze a phoenix, would be chasing the impossible. Yet, Lin Fei achieved it. His Annihilation Frost bloodline froze the phoenix momentarily. Though fleeting, this moment proved the extraordinary nature of Lin Fei's Annihilation Frost bloodline. Freezing for just an instant only indicated that Lin Fei's bloodline had vast potential yet to be tapped. Its essence, however, may not necessarily be inferior to the phoenix flames. Now, Lin Fei's Annihilation Frost bloodline, having broken through from beginner to mastery, wields even greater power. Were Lin Fei to confront an infant phoenix again, it wouldn't merely be frozen for an instant but for a more extended period. However, this was just the beginning. Lin Fei continued integrating icy divine abilities. Soon after, his entire being trembled once more, an emerging chill vaguely emanating from him. The Annihilation Frost bloodline had undergone another breakthrough, advancing from mastery to transcendence. Once it reached transcendence, the power of Lin Fei's Annihilation Frost bloodline soared even higher. Continue. Lin Fei's aim was perfection. Hence, he persisted in absorbing the icy divine abilities. 100, 200, 300. Contrary to Lin Fei's expectations, the 300 icy divine abilities still hadn't pushed the Annihilation Frost bloodline to perfection. In past bloodline cultivations, this had never occurred. Forget 300 divine abilities, even 100 divine abilities would typically be enough to perfect a bloodline. But now, even with 300 divine abilities, the Annihilation Frost bloodline still wasn't perfected. Fortunately, Lin Fei had more than 300 icy divine abilities at his disposal. Feng Ling had bestowed upon him 318 icy divine abilities. Lin Fei could sense he was on the brink. The Annihilation Frost bloodline was nearing perfection. 301, 302, 303. By the time Lin Fei had integrated up to the 308th icy divine ability, with a deafening boom, Lin Fei's entire being quivered. Within him, the Annihilation Frost bloodline surged to prominence. Though he had not yet transformed into his martial king form, the emergence of the Annihilation Frost bloodline instantly caused the other 4 bloodlines within him to surface as well. Yet, the 4 bloodlines that manifested now, for reasons unknown, gathered around the Annihilation Frost bloodline, reminiscent of stars encircling the moon. Furthermore, the Annihilation Frost bloodline began to exude a subtle yet dominating aura, suppressing the other 4 bloodlines. What a formidable Annihilation Frost bloodline! The might of this bloodline can simultaneously suppress the other 4. Does this mean that none of the 4 bloodlines are a match for the Annihilation Frost bloodline? A jolt of surprise coursed through Lin Fei. His Supreme Saber Dao bloodline, Grandian Wind Dao bloodline, Triplean True Fire bloodline, and Supreme Yuan Heavenly Thunder bloodline were, by no means, ordinary. They could indeed be considered among the pinnacle of bloodlines. However, the gap between them and the Annihilation Frost bloodline was vast. Lin Fei was well aware that the disparity between bloodlines was significant. Even if they were top-tier bloodlines, some were superior to others. His cultivation of these bloodlines was primarily based on the techniques found in the Dubhe Dao artifact. And even among the methods collected by the true immortal Dubhe, there were differences in potency. Yet, Dubhe, the true immortal, seemed indifferent, casually placing them all on a bookshelf for Lin Fei to select at his discretion. Among them, the Annihilation Frost bloodline was likely one of the most elite. But in the eyes of the true immortal Dubhe, it was perhaps all the same. This revealed that the achievement of becoming martial gods wasn't necessarily tied to the strength of one's bloodline. It pertained more to other elements. But for a martial king, the potency of one's bloodline was of paramount importance, as it directly influenced one's power. The stronger the bloodline, the more formidable one's strength. Now that the Annihilation Frost bloodline has been perfected, I can move on to cultivating the 6th bloodline. Which bloodline should I cultivate next? Lin Fei pondered briefly before understanding. Among the 4 symbols earth, fire, water, and wind, and the 5 elements metal, wood, water, fire, and earth, he lacked earth from the former and wood and earth from the latter. Then I choose earth. Lin Fei extended his hand, and the Dubhadao artifact materialized within it. Without hesitation, he entered the artifact, beginning his search for the right bloodline technique. Earth attribute bloodline techniques were a bit unique and few in number. Lin Fei found only a handful, most of which were common and unremarkable. However, there was one that caught his eye, the Earth Pulse Divine Mountain Spirit Communication bloodline. A description accompanied it, detailing that once cultivated, this bloodline allowed the bearer to continuously harness the power of the earth. One could even perform earth travel and command the divine mountains, possessing the ability to move mountains. The catch? To cultivate this bloodline, one required a vast amount of earth vein essence. The support of a divine mountain would be ideal, for only with such a mountain could this bloodline truly transcend. It said that martial gods possess the power to reach the heavens and penetrate the earth, Lin Fei mused. Reaching the heavens might be straightforward, but penetrating the earth is challenging. With the Earth Pulse Divine Mountain Spirit Communication bloodline, once successfully cultivated, I would indeed possess the ability to penetrate the earth. It's undoubtedly a powerful bloodline. As for its cultivation difficulty, which of the bloodlines I've cultivated hasn't been a challenge? Without a moment's hesitation, Lin Fei made his decision. He would cultivate the Earth Pulse Divine Mountain Spirit Communication bloodline. Addressing the technique, he declared, "Would you be willing to become my bloodline, aiding me in achieving the status of martial god, granting my bloodline immortality?" With a swift whoosh, the technique seemed to be rather cooperative. Without any need for threats or coercion, as Lin Fei's 5 bloodlines manifested, the new technique obediently integrated into Lin Fei's being. A resonating boom echoed, and Lin Fei's body trembled. Concurrently, a deluge of memories flooded his mind, all related to the Earth Pulse Divine Mountain Spirit Communication bloodline. Yet within these memories, Lin Fei's mastery over this bloodline was merely at a beginner's level. Even so, the sensation was novel and profound. He gazed at the floor of the chamber, placing his hand gently upon it. Closing his eyes, another thunderous boom resounded. The next moment, a cacophony, as if composed of billions of voices, erupted within Lin Fei's mind. Chapter 412. The Peacock King's Arrival and the Fenling's Appearance. Lin Fei snapped back to reality. Is this the voice of countless beings from the earth? Can my Earth Pulse Divine Mountain Spirit Communication bloodline hear the voices of all life on the earth? A hint of amazement flashed in Lin Fei's eyes. This was essentially a built-in divine ability, and not an ordinary one at that. Let me listen closely once more. Lin Fei focused intently, his consciousness seemingly intertwined with the entire land, continuously delving deep underground and then resurfacing. It felt as if the entire expanse of the land had become his eyes. This could be useful for finding rare and precious treasures, he mused. Even though I'm just at the beginner stage, I can explore roughly within a 10-mile radius. It may seem limited now, but once I reach mastery, transcendence, or even perfection, the range will undoubtedly expand substantially. Upon further experimentation, Lin Fei realized that the Earth Pulse Divine Mountain Spirit Communication bloodline wasn't limited to just exploration. With just a thought, he could detect up to 5 mountains within a 10-mile radius. And by activating his bloodline, he could move these mountains with ease, harnessing their power. This wasn't the kind of mountain-moving divine ability that even a golden core true person could use. Such beings couldn't even move ancient divine mountains. However, Lin Fei's bloodline could potentially move any divine mountain. As long as he stood on the earth, he could tap into the limitless power of the earth veins, manipulating the energy and causing the land to turn upside down. Moving mountains would be a breeze. The only downside was the difficulty in cultivating this ability. Lin Fei returned to the secret chamber within the Dubhadao artifact, searching for other divine abilities related to the earth attribute or even those of the earth attribute. Although there were some, they were even rarer. After an extensive search, he only found a few earth or earth-related divine abilities and bloodlines. They were indeed rare, making the divine abilities based on them even scarcer. This could be a problem, Lin Fei frowned. However, he decided to first integrate these few divine abilities into the Earth Pulse Divine Mountain Spirit Communication Bloodline System. Lin Fei summoned the system panel to take a look. Host, Lin Fei. Martial Arts Realm, Mid-Stage Martial King. Supreme Saber Dao Bloodline, Perfection. Grandian Wind Dao Bloodline, Perfection. Triple Yin True Fire Bloodline, Perfection. Supreme Yon Heavenly Thunder Bloodline, Perfection. Annihilation Frost Bloodline, Perfection. Earth Pulse Divine Mountain Spirit Communication Bloodline, Beginner, Progress 48%. Saber World, Perfection. Lin Fei's system panel now displays 6 bloodlines. Among them, the Earth Pulse Divine Mountain Spirit Communication Bloodline had only reached 48% progress and was still at the beginner level. Earth Attribute Divine abilities are probably rare everywhere, he mused. Even across the vast ancient continent, there might not be many such divine abilities. It seems I have to start with the Earth Veins and ideally find a place rich in Earth Vein energy and abundant with divine mountains. Maybe then, the Earth Pulse Divine Mountain Spirit Communication Bloodline will improve rapidly. As Lin Fei was contemplating the cultivation of his 6th bloodline, an enormous divine bird appeared above the Feng family residence. Its colossal body, thousands of meters in length, obscured the sky. Vibrant rays of color shimmered from its wings. It was the Peacock King. Many looked up at the sky, their eyes widening in awe at the sight of the Peacock King. What kind of exotic beast is that? Such a terrifying aura. This is the Feng family's territory. Why would such a formidable beast appear here? Is it a king-level exotic beast? Moreover, it's heading straight for the Feng family residence. Perhaps it's targeting them. Many were thrown into panic, scrambling to escape. However, the Peacock King paid no mind to these ordinary humans. As a king-level exotic beast and a descendant of the Phoenix, its intelligence was comparable to that of humans, if not superior. Its primary mission was to seek out the blood of the true Phoenix. The blood of the true Phoenix. I'm certain of it, it thought. Ever since my mother vanished, no Phoenix has been present in the ancient world. Where did this true Phoenix blood come from? Whoever possesses it, I must have it. Perhaps by following the trail of the blood, I can find the Phoenix. The Peacock King's gaze fixed on the Feng family residence below. It was well aware of the many secrets surrounding the Phoenix. Although a Phoenix can be reborn from the ashes and doesn't require offspring, it doesn't mean they wouldn't leave descendants behind. For various reasons, a Phoenix mated with other exotic beasts, resulting in offspring, the Peacock King. Of course, there wasn't just one Phoenix. After giving birth to the Peacock King, his mother disappeared, rumored to have entered a dormant state, silently waiting for her rebirth. This dormant period might last a very long time. Having reached the pinnacle of martial king, the Peacock King could no longer advance due to its bloodline. To ascend further, it needed the true Phoenix bloodline. This urgency was why it hurriedly made its way here. It had been ages since it last sensed the presence of true Phoenix blood. Now, sensing it again, the Peacock King saw an opportunity. And so, the thunderous voice of the Peacock King echoed throughout the heavens, "Whoever possesses the blood of the true Phoenix, come forth. I know you're hiding among these people. But you should know that, to me, this means nothing. I can kill all of these people and destroy this entire city." The Peacock King obviously didn't care about these people. But it knew if someone truly did possess the blood of the true Phoenix, and they were from the Feng family, they would certainly care about these people. At this moment, within the Feng family, some of the family elders, upon seeing the massive exotic beast in the sky, couldn't help but tremble in their hearts. It has come, the Peacock King is really here. This is fate. We wish to obtain the blood of the true Phoenix, and likewise, the Peacock King desires it too. Only by repelling the Peacock King can our patriarch keep the Phoenix blood and attempt to reach martial gods. But is our patriarch a match for the Peacock King? These elders were aware of the circumstances and knew why the Peacock King came. "Peacock King, you finally arrived." At that moment, a figure soared from within the Feng family. Fen Ling made her appearance. She had to come forth. It was fate. She obtained the blood of the true Phoenix. The Peacock King would surely know. For the Peacock King, even if the Fengling gave it a portion of the phoenix blood, it would be of no use. For its transformation, a large amount of phoenix blood is required. Thus, the Peacock King would inevitably plunder all of the phoenix blood. I recognize you, girl of the Fen family. I didn't expect you to be the one with the blood of the true phoenix. And since you obtained the phoenix blood, you must have encountered the phoenix. Don't deny it. Let me meet the phoenix. You don't have a choice. The Peacock King didn't care about a bit of phoenix blood. Its true aim was the phoenix itself. But how could Fengling lead the Peacock King to the sacred realm? That place is the foundation of the Fen family. It was designed to trap the phoenix, not the Peacock King. If it was destroyed by the Peacock King, or if the Peacock King absorbed the phoenix's blood, what would be the point of the Fen family's sacred realm? That is their foundation. Even if Fengling fails in her attempt to reach martial gods this time, with the sacred realm and the phoenix, the Fen family could stand tall forever. They couldn't let the Peacock King destroy their sacred realm. Peacock King, even if I tell you I don't know where the phoenix is, you won't believe me. There's no use talking more. Defeat or even kill me, and naturally, you'll get everything you wish. But if I defeat you, you should go back from where you came. The Feng family is not a place for you to wreak havoc. The tone of the Fengling was cold, yet she exuded an aura of majesty.